What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC, USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It's the 28th day of June, and here we are at about $107,000, just below there. 22 hours, 18 minutes left in the day. If we're looking at the short-term stuff, and I think we should look at the short-term stuff before we come to the long-term stuff, right? The larger time frames. 15-minute time frame, we'll zoom out from there. The 15-minute is pretty neutral. It looks pretty neutral to me. I mean, you're getting overbought, oversold, overbought, maybe making your way down to the oversold zone, finding support at the 35, finding resistance at the 60. I think right now, actually, the 15-minute kind of looks like it's bouncing here. And that's cool. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I think right now we will be moving down lower, right? How low are we going to go? I don't know if the 15-minute time frame depicts that, but it would make me think at least that we would go lower from here. By the time most of you watch this, we're probably going to be at lower prices. And if we're at higher prices, nothing too crazy. Something that is just a lower high relative to this, and we will likely move down afterwards, okay? Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour is probably going to be neutral because the price has been neutral for like the past 3 or 4 days. It looks neutral right now. Overall, kind of in a downtrend, right? You replaced your uptrend, higher lows, higher highs, with a sideways trend, turned it into a downtrend, and now we might be turning the downtrend into a sideways trend. Overall, it's neutral. It's definitely neutral right now for the time being since the 25th of June here. It's the 28th now. So over the past couple of days, it's been neutral. But rejecting the 60 and coming down below the 40, I suppose it's more neutral in a bearish sense than it would be in a bullish sense. I think looking at the 1 hour makes me think that we do want to go to the oversold zone, and with that we likely would go lower as well. So sitting here at 107K right now on the dot, I really wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a lower low, right? Just looking at the price here, lower lows, lower highs. I don't know why it's glitching like that. Okay, dude. Okay, magnet. We're going to come all the way back here. Lower highs, right? We're at the area where you'd expect to come down. We're at a lower high area. And if we break out, if we move higher, you guys, if we see prices above like 107.5 on a closing basis, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't move lower. We actually might start moving up. But that doesn't really make sense to me. It's the weekend. I don't expect anything dramatic to happen this weekend. I wouldn't think, like, if we start moving up above here, that'd mean we're moving up higher. Are we going to go to new all-time highs over the weekend? I don't think so, but anything's possible. Just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we can't make moves. We made some big moves last weekend, Saturday, Sunday. This is what it was, to the downside though, instead of to the upside. But I am expecting, we moved down over the weekend and then we moved up over the week. I'm expecting next week to be bullish as well. And whenever you move down over the weekend, that tends to set you up for a bullish week. If you move up over the weekend, it sets you up for a bearish week. Not always, but typically, okay? Or at least a bearish beginning or a bullish beginning. 1 hour RSI, if I had to guess, if I had to give it a opinion, it would be that yes, we're probably going lower. Let's look at the Coinbase price real quick, just because I trust the volume there a little bit more. A lot of volume, and you're not going anywhere. It's kind of interesting. 4 hour time frame here. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, getting out of the overbought zone. I don't mind this move down like this, right? It's not a quick dump to the oversold areas. Right? And whenever you get that, you tend to move lower. You do this kind of methodical stuff. When's the last time that you did something like this? That kind of looks methodical, but not quite what I'm going for here. Kind of like this, right? Let's see. You do stuff like this. By the time you get into the oversold zone, you're ready to rip. That's not really a good example, though, is it? I mean, you're kind of here going lower. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we don't have an example of it. That's okay though. That's okay. I'm curious because it's not normal. I would say it looks rather methodical and meticulous. Maybe that doesn't mean anything. Maybe it just means we're prolonging the inevitable of going down. Talking about going down, and I don't know if I should be bullish or bearish on this 4 hour. I mean, for the moment being, I guess I'm bullish. The 1 hour and the 15-minute make me bearish, but the 4 hour, we're in kind of a neutral stance, but a more bullish stance than bearish stance, I suppose. I would think before moving higher, especially with the stop that we have already, I would think that we would at least interact with the 236, at least there. If not, down to the 382, and sometimes you do go just below the 382, and that's at about 104.3 $3,000. If we were to go just below there, maybe just below 104K, right at 104K, somewhere around there, right? That wouldn't be too crazy. But at least 105 point, what is this? 105.8, 105.7K. Okay, at least somewhere around there. Bitcoin has had a rather, what's the word I want to look for that I want to use? I don't know. It's had a fling with the 236 lately, right? Since April, it's had a little bit of a relationship with it lately. So something to consider here, at least there, before moving higher. But it's more common to go to the 382 before moving higher than it is to bounce off the 236. So whatever that's worth, 104K, just below 106K, something like that, it would make sense we go lower by the way of the RSI, by the way of the fibs. And again, this RSI to me looks pretty bullish right now, but you have been very volatile, right? We've gone overbought, oversold again, I guess, overbought, oversold, overbought, oversold, overbought. What's the next step? Oversold. If not oversold, at least something that would be down at the 40 or the 35 or even around the oversold zone to find support off of it, something like that, right? Maybe something like this. I don't know. Time will tell. But I'm still leaning to the downside even on this 4-hour time frame. It almost looks like a bull flag, right? From here you're coming down, you've got this like flag kind of pattern. Almost. I wouldn't say it is, but it kind of looks like one, right? Daily time frame. And let's do this actually real quick before we go to the daily time frame. Another reason why I like the 382, if we're looking at this from a low to a high, something like that, whatever. Maybe not the fake out high, we'll do this high. Low to high here. If we were to go to the 382, we'd be going just below what seems like significant price action here, but actually we'd be finding support at other significant areas of price, finding support here, finding support throughout this area here, and resistance back here, right? We found resistance, support, maybe support right at this 382, right there just below, or just above $104,000, if not just below there, something in that area. It might make sense that we go down here. People freak out because we're below these lows. Clearly, this means that we're going to go lower, right? We're going to see a lower low than this if we get below here, but maybe it's right at that point where I feel like most people might start to consider that because we're underneath these lows now, underneath that consolidation phase right there. That might be the perfect place to actually start ripping higher. And my thought there, again, would be that once we're, from here, some people might theorize that we're going to go lower than this low. But once we're below here, I think it might seem more acceptable that we would go to a lower low. And why is that? That's because if we're looking at this on a daily time frame, we've got lower highs and lower lows, right? If we get below that 382, I feel like it becomes obvious, right? If the price moves down here, it might look like we're just doing exactly what we've been doing, which is, forming another lower low after forming a lower high. But what I suspect is going to happen is right whenever that moment becomes kind of clear, right there just above 104K, that'll be when we reverse. It'll be a bear trap, and then that's when we start to move up and rip to new all-time highs. We're taking our sweet time getting there, and maybe it happens that way, maybe it doesn't happen that way, but that's my kind of theory at the moment. 3-day time frame here. Let's see if it will. Let's see. I don't mind the 3-day RSI, honestly. The daily, was it? The daily's rejecting the 60. You're actually at an area to reject the 60. We didn't even look at the daily RSI, but it would make sense that you're coming down. You have a low. It looks like you have lower lows and lower highs in the daily trend, and typically downtrends end once you're in the oversold zone, not outside of them. But typically, that doesn't mean that it has to. I mean, let's just see. Here, I guess you got a little bit. Here, you had a downtrend, and it ended without you getting into the oversold zone, though you got very close. I'm just saying it doesn't have to happen. You got very close here. But I would think that you would go lower, at least a little bit lower from here. 3-day time frame, the RSI does look bullish overall. Getting overbought, not getting oversold, staying above the 50 more than you're staying below it. We love to see that. That's good. So over the days to come, maybe we come down. Over the weeks to come, and that'd be nice over the weekend actually. Over the weeks to come, bullish stuff should be expected. Weekly time frame here, also looking very bullish. I think it'd be nice if this week could close, and I think we will get a week to close. 1 day, 23 hours left in the week here. We will get this week to close green. How green, I don't know. Here or higher would be awesome, but I have a feeling we'll probably move down over the coming days. But any kind of green is fine because finding support right here and moving up toward our overbought zone is actually very, very bullish. If we could reverse this little downtrend in the RSI, this little downward, it's not even a trend, this downward sloping movement right here, if we could reverse that and start pointing back to the overbought zone, that could promote some serious growth over the weeks to come, you guys. Once we get overbought, things are going to get crazy really, really fast. And we're just waiting on that. So not this week, maybe next week, that'll be the case. And then if we get overbought next week, the following week should be rather miraculous, not just for Bitcoin, but for the whole space. So looks like we're waiting for July to kick things off. A little bit boring over the weekend. That's the expectation at the moment. And I got nothing else for you guys. So if you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. All right. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.